Today we're talking about American culture. Remember that time someone asked you to eat out at a famous restaurant but you said no because speaking English seems scary to you? Smoothly chatting with the restaurant staff felt impossible. It seemed easier to ignore your English-speaking dreams and just stay home. Don't do that. Watch this video and boost your confidence. Impress your friends, family, and coworkers with your newfound knowledge about American restaurant culture. You might actually have fun. I'm Teacher Kelly and welcome back to another lesson. In today's video, we're going to squash some misgivings about going out to eat. You see, I used to be a server myself a long time ago, so I have some insight on what it's like to be a server. Let me help you not only improve your English, but understand what it's like from the server's point of view. So grab a chair, order a drink, and review our menu of today's offerings. When you go out to a restaurant, you should be aware of certain staff members and their roles. The first person to greet you should be the host or the hostess. Aside from saying hello, their job is to determine whether you have a reservation, and if you don't, they will find you a table. If you call the restaurant for a reservation, you're likely speaking to the host or hostess. They may ask you how many are in your party. You should reply in a short, kind greeting. Hello, thank you. Then tell them the total number of people in your group. If you already made a reservation, tell them the name and the time of the reservation. I made a reservation under the name Teacher Kelly for 7 people at 8 o'clock. The next staff member is the one that you'll spend the most time with, the waiter or waitress. They might call themselves your server. They will be friendly with you because their job depends on your happiness and experience. They might stand close to you, try to have a casual conversation with you, and they will be glad to take care of any needs that you have during the meal. After they deliver your food, they will return a few moments later to ask you how the food tastes and if there are any mistakes. If you want to get their attention, you can make eye contact with them from across the room and briefly wave your hand, like this. Then there is the bartender, who is responsible for making alcoholic drinks. In some restaurants, they may be able to order your food as well. There may be more than one bartender, but their jobs are still the same. They will want to be friendly with you too, because like the server, their job depends on your happiness. Finally, there is the manager. A good one will walk around the restaurant and interact with the customers. They may ask you about your meal, your service so far, and your overall happiness with the experience. Try not to immediately report any small dissatisfaction with your server to your manager. Instead, and this is really important, tell your server first. This gives your server a chance to correct their behavior before getting them in trouble with the boss. If the service does not improve, depending on how important it is, then you can tell the manager or ask to see the manager. However, be warned that the issue you have must be important, like telling the server you have a peanut allergy and you find peanuts in your meal. Don't ask to see the manager because you didn't get a refill on your drink. So how do you efficiently and politely order food at a restaurant? Normally, most people just sit down and start ordering food without thinking to tell the server how they're going to divide the bill in the end. You could do that, but if you already know that people in your party are going to pay separately, it's efficient and considerate to tell your server in the very beginning. Trust me, this was really time-consuming to do on the computer. If you're not ready to order yet, you can say, to start with, we'd each like a glass of white wine. Or, can we have some time to look at the menu? So when you're ready to order, don't point at the menu and say, I want this, that, and over here. Instead, be more polite, specific, and efficient. I'd like the chicken salad with a sparkling water. Or, could I have the fish tacos with sour cream on the side and a Sprite? However, it's very likely that the server will ask you what you want to drink before you even sit down. That's because it's an easy question to answer and it's an efficient use of the server's time. Be prepared to let them know what you want to drink or to ask them for the drink menu to see the adult beverages they have to offer. The server will probably bring you water, but it never really hurts to ask for it specifically. In the southern part of the United States, there's a trap. If you say that you want a Coke to drink, they may ask you what kind of Coke do you want. That's because in the South, we use Coke to mean soda or pop. So when they ask you this, just say, oh, I want a Coca-Cola, or Sprite, or Dr. Pepper, or whatever it is you want. Oh, and be aware of last call, which is the last order before the bar or the kitchen closes for the night. This usually happens 1 to 2 hours before closing time. If you're not sure, it doesn't hurt to ask. Portion sizes are important to consider. You might be getting a big meal or just a small appetizer. If you want to get the right amount of food, you can ask the server about the portion sizes this way. How big is the plate of food? How many people can this dish feed? America is known for its big portions in restaurants, so be sure to ask in advance. Also, don't be ashamed if you can't finish your food. You can ask the server, can I get these meals to go? Or, can I get a doggy bag for this? A doggy bag isn't for dogs really. It's just restaurant code for packing up leftovers so that you can take them home and eat them later. So now we come to that awkward feeling about tipping. Remember, regardless of the quality of service, restaurant staff members absolutely need and deserve something. I used to be a server, and this is why you should be generous. When I was around 18, I was a waiter, and you might be shocked to learn how much we made per hour back in 1998. $2.13 per hour. This is legal because they live off of your tips, and their livelihood depends on your generosity. This is the reason that they will be very friendly to you and take care of everything that you require. Their ultimate job is to take care of your satisfaction. Therefore, if you want a refill on your water, ask them. If you want them to take away some of the empty plates, kindly request that they do so. This is important. Do not hesitate to respectfully tell the server that you are not happy with some part of their service. Give them a chance to meet your expectations by telling them what you need. You should always start with excuse me or sorry, but don't be too demanding. Here are some examples. Excuse me, would you help us clear some table space, please? Sorry, can I get a refill on my coffee? Could I have the check, please? Sorry, I think there's a mistake on the dish that you brought me. At the end of the meal, it's time to consider how much you will give. Keep in mind that some restaurants will share a waiter's tips with the bartender, especially if there is an alcoholic beverage on the bill. Instead of using credit card to tip, perhaps you can consider cash. Credit card tips take 2 to 3 business days to process, and even then, they are attached to the server's bi-weekly paycheck. Fold up the cash bills neatly and put them under a bowl or a glass on your table. And don't make a big deal out of it. Tip 20% of the total check if you're happy. If you gave the server some chances to improve their service but they still didn't, tip 10%. You should never leave nothing, and if you do, don't be shocked that an American server argues with you. Americans are friendly, but they're also not afraid to confront you. If you only want to go to the bar and you know you're going to spend a few hours there, you can ask the bartender to open a tab. A tab is a running list of things that you will order over the time period. The bartender will ask you for a credit card that they will hold behind the counter, and when you're finished, you say, I would like to close my tab. Then you pay for everything all at once. Be polite in all instances, be open and honest with your waitstaff, and everything will be great. Now for the check, the most controversial elephant in the room at the end of the meal. If you want to be the one to pay, you can do a preemptive strike by looking for the server before the meal begins. Tell your guests that you need to go to the restroom, but on your way, find the server. You tell them that you want to be the one to pay for the check. I promise it works every time. Alternatively, when the check comes, you can all go Dutch, which means that every person pays only for the thing that they had. Finally, you can say, "Can we split the check into tickets?" and tell the server exactly which meal and drink goes on which ticket. Regardless of how many tickets there are, everyone should tip 20% if they're happy. Well, that's it for now, my diligent students. You're working so hard to master so many different aspects of the English language. So go ahead and treat yourself to a big meal at an American restaurant. So what did we learn? We understood the culture around American restaurants and tipping, how to order, and about the staff and their roles. We learned many ways to interact with the staff, how to deal with the check, and how to optimize your dining experience. If my videos are helpful, then I want to be more helpful. Subscribe to my channel for a free English lesson each week. See you next time.